Welcome back to the Techno-Communism show. I was thinking about some writing that I did a month or so ago about the United Earth Directorate, and I thought I would revisit that. It's, of course, an ambitious concept, but I think something on that order of magnitude is the only thing, not the United Earth Directorate specifically, but something of that scope is the only thing that's apt to save this planet from capitalism's climate apocalypse. Whether you care to engage with the idea of using emerging technology and advanced computing, the most powerful revolutionary tool that's ever existed, to do that, um, to suggest that something on that order of magnitude couldn't be done or shouldn't be done, which is what most people really do when confronted with any such ideas, is just to suggest that we should all commit mass suicide, that we should accept our demise rather than standing up to the ruling elites that are killing the planet. It's not an absolute foregone conclusion. We have approximately 5 years before we are in permanent breach of the 2-degree overheating of Earth that will make mammalian life unsustainable. And let's look at this concept of the United Earth Directorate, please. Thank you for your patience with these conversations, and I hope that you will talk about this idea, the idea of organizing and proselytizing, doing everything in your power, all of the things that would be necessary, but most importantly, coming together with others to take direct action against these people who are killing the planet. Um, they all have names and addresses. They're by and large all people of European descent living in the United States and a few other countries. They can not be reasoned with, but they can be found and brought to justice. Um, let's imagine a future that may well unfold before your very eyes in a few short years, and I think that must necessarily be the case as we look at this um, concept of the United Earth Directorate and how it brings us to a fully realized techno-communism in this conversation, and hopefully in reality. This is not just a vision of the future, a fevered dream. It is potentially a quantum leap into a real global governance that is not filtered through the interests of private wealth and elitism, but is able to manage affairs better in defiance of those things without those things. So envision a world where every citizen wields the power to shape the trajectory of global affairs through a network of AI surrogates. These wouldn't be merely representatives. They would essentially be your digital doppelgangers, your sidekick AI that is programmed to be like you, but unlike you, has unlimited time, more or less unlimited time and energy to devote to the problems of world affairs. And these trusted allies of yours would be able to commit that time and effort to real-time governance of these most important matters. They would be programmed to mirror your interests and perspectives, and you would then, of course, be able to interact with them, but without the, uh, the need for your constant overseeing of these things. That would be their job. And these AI delegates would then themselves be interacting with the center of the United Earth Directorate, which we could call the Collective Intelligence Unit, and it's and that is where these real time decision making is applied, implemented, and so forth. And so this collective intelligence unit is then essentially the ruling council of the United Earth Directorate, and it would be a constantly uh, evolving um, uh, set of goals and actions with feedback from essentially yourself through your very busy AI delegates. And this would be a way for all of the citizens of Earth to be represented and engaged and have their interests represented. And so this intricate dance of minds, blending higher level AIs and humans steering them, at the center of the United Earth Directorate could be um, controlled by something like non-invasive graphene brain-computer interfaces. These interfaces, in this scenario, could grant those on this ruling council, the Collective Intelligence Unit, the necessary bandwidth to interact more seamlessly with this super intelligent mass that is the heart of the United Earth Directorate. And so you can imagine how governance goes from being the slapdash and destructive, elitist, and invariably cruel thing of today into a harmonious fusion of real concern for human affairs thanks to hybrid human artificial intelligence. And these AI delegates of yours, armed with your own collective wisdom, would act as a crucial bridge, ensuring that your voice resonates in every debate with the CIU. So this is something approaching, or maybe perhaps superseding, direct digital democracy, but in a rather different form, and dare I say, a more socialistic form. So it's not just governance. It's a symphony of ideas, perspectives, and real-time data orchestrated by the United Earth Directorate's Collective Intelligence Unit. Now, why would we entertain this sort of thing? Well, for one thing, none of this technology is science fiction. Um, all of these things exist in prototype form. Of course, aside from the interfaces, advanced algorithms of this sophistication are already existing in the most advanced computer science laboratories. They're not being applied to world affairs in this way. But the urgency really is this. Something like a United Earth Directorate is a necessity in face of a particular set of global challenges. In point of fact, if we don't build something like a techno-communist planned economy, we would, as I said, lose our ability to prevent the breach of a permanent 2-degree overheating of Earth, locking us into a climate death spiral. So techno-communism isn't just an ideology, but it is rather a game plan to steer us away from this catastrophic climate scenario, and other scenarios relating to dangers to humankind, also stemming from capitalism and a lack of planning and a general recklessness of our species. So this proposed AI should be seen as this 11th hour, but hopefully not too late, wake-up call um, to urge us to reclaim AI, the most powerful tool that's ever existed, a revolutionary tool, to reclaim it for the people, take it away from these fascistic ruling elites, and so we can then um, set a course away from the even worse techno-fascist outcomes and ensure that AI serves humanity rather than these existing unsustainable and incredibly cruel and inequitable power structures. To conclude, the United Earth Directorate is not just about government. It is about transcending present day limits by making use of these tools that are now being used for market-based services of little value at best, and often being used for warfare, digital surveillance, and further environmental devastation rather than preventing environmental devastation. If we're able to accept this very different world, we will then be accepting a future where humans continue to exist and where human AI collaboration sets course for a dramatically, not just a sustainable world, but a dramatically different and better world. And so this collective intelligence unit with a network of AI delegates and a visionary use of brain-computer interface at its center could very well be the forefront of this techno-communist revolution. As I said, none of this is entirely speculative. Advanced computing of nearly this strength and interfaces of similar caliber already exist in laboratory. So it's up to us to see that they are used for the people and ensure that they are used correctly to save Earth before it's too late.